we're live. So we'll wait 2 more minutes and then we're going to start talking about baby wearing, big babies, and we'll stop my music so you can actually hear me. So this live is all about the big ones, the big babies. How can we carry them? How can we keep them happy? What kind of slings are available out there, and what tricks can we use so that we can keep them happy whilst carrying them. So I think I need to turn my camera, sorry, on Instagram. Yeah, that's better. So I am live on Instagram and on Facebook at the same time, so don't mind me if I need to tweak some cameras. Yes, I think we're good. Okay, so more people will hopefully join us. So this live is all about carrying big babies. So big babies, I mean probably around 1 year old, maybe a bit younger, and toddlers alike. So depending on what you define by a toddler, can go on until 3, 4, and we can even talk about carrying preschoolers. So like 3 years old, 4 years old still need to be carried. So what I'll do in this live, I'm going to show you some sling demos. So I've got lots of slings to show you some options, show you different ways to wrap if you're using wraps, and then I'm going to talk about tips and things that you need to think about when you're carrying an older child. Okay, so let's start to talk about maybe buckle carriers first. So there's lots and lots of options for buckle carriers. You can choose between going straight for a toddler carrier. So I'm going to show you some toddler carriers so you can see the size and give you an idea of how big they are. So this is the Tudor toddler, and they have weight limits that you have to keep an eye out. So most of them start around 11 kilos, 12 kilos, and majority go up to 25, 26 kilos. So it's quite a lot of weight to carry. So this is the Tudor toddler. This is the Beko toddler. This one is bigger than the Tudor, actually. It's quite wide. And you've got Izmi toddler, which I don't have here at the moment, and lots of brands do toddler versions of their carriers. So the reason why they are for toddlers is because the base is very wide. So I can give you an idea. I'm gonna unclip. So you're gonna need quite a big child to be able to fit that width at the base. So you want to keep on supporting knee to knee. And you don't want them to be sitting in a split, so you really need to make sure you wait until your child is big enough to fit the width of a toddler carrier. And then in terms of the height, they go very high. Some of them are adaptable, so like with the Beko toddler, you can make the height a little bit smaller by making the straps shorter, but you need to make sure it's not covering their faces. Okay, so they need to have visibility, they need to be able to breathe. So you would want ideally maximum top of the panel to be under the earlobe. In terms of how long this will last, well, that depends. You need to make sure you don't go above the maximum upper weight limit, which is about 25 kilos for most of them. But you also need to remember that even if your child seems like they have outgrown it, it doesn't mean that it's too small if you're within the lower weight limit. So for toddlers, we obviously want to preserve the M-shaped positioning, so being supported from knee to knee, but it doesn't matter if the knees are here. So you don't have to have the edge of the panel right behind the knee pad here. I'm trying to flash my knickers at the same time. And as long as you are supported from knee to knee, then you're good to go. So it doesn't mean that the panel needs to be right behind the knee. If you have the M-shaped positioning, then you're good to go. At this age, it doesn't matter as much as with small babies where they're still developing their hips. It does take quite a long time for the hips to finish fully developing, but you don't have to worry so much. In terms of the height of the panel, likewise, it's the same. With small babies, we ideally want the top of the panel to be right under the earlobe. With bigger babies, it's okay if it reaches here or here. It doesn't matter so much because they have full head control. You don't have to support the head. What you need to consider is if they're going to have a nap in the sling or the carrier, you need to still be able to support the head. So you don't want a poor toddler sleeping with the head back like that. So most of them, if they're well positioned, they will just lean on your neck or lean on your chest if they're sleeping on the front. But you might want to make sure you've got a sleeping hood that comes with it. So like majority of them comes with sleep hood. So I'll show you on the Toddler toddlers because I removed this one. But you've got these hoods like that. So if the head goes back, you just clip it and you're good to go. So these are the main things to consider with carriers, is that you don't have to support knee to knee and you don't have to support right under the earlobe. It's fine. As long as it feels comfortable, you're good to go. So also you can get more lightweight ones. So the Izmir, I don't have it, but you can get it. This is Integra and they come in 3 sizes, so you can get a size 3 as well. And you can adjust them by rolling the base and then make the height a bit less high. What else do we have? We have adaptable carriers. So I'm going to show you how to work with this. So adaptable carriers, the idea is that they fit very small babies, so newborns up to a certain age. So I'll show you the Izara, the one, and then I'll show you the Boba X. So with the Izara, it's really great. It's very, very long lasting. I have fitted newborns and I've fitted my eldest, who's now 6, he still fits in it, just about. So it's completely adaptable. I'll show you what the base looks like inside. So you've got Velcro tabs and it is micro adjustable. So as your baby gets bigger, you just open and then you pull and you make it wider and wider. So you make it as wide as you need. When you've reached maximum width, then you have extenders that you just add and it makes the seat wider. For some of the carriers, they also come with extenders, or you can buy extenders. So a lot of the Tudors now, so Tudor Standard, Food to Grow and Explore, you can buy this type of extenders. So it will make your carrier last a little bit longer before you have to buy a toddler carrier. So that will make it last very long. And in terms of the height of the panel, you've got the straps at the front and you've got all this length to make it grow longer. So we still support your baby for quite a while. And that grows really, really big. So in terms of value for money, the Izara is really great because it can last you 4 years easily, even maybe more than 4 years, depending on the size of your child. Again, I can't tell you how long things last because it depends how big your baby is. So recently I've managed to fit a 10-month-old in this one, but it wouldn't fit a 2-year-old. So it really, really varies. That's why we have Sling libraries, and you can come and try them and see if they fit. And if it doesn't fit, it's okay, you wait a bit longer and then we try again. So you don't have to go and buy something and then it doesn't work. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to use the Boba X. This is quite a popular one and quite a few people have asked me to show how to fit. So it comes with a hood. I'm just going to remove the hood because I don't need it. So with the base, it's the same system as the Izara. Let me show you. So again, micro adjustable. So you start very small like this. So you bring as much fabric in like that. So that fits a newborn. We fitted quite a few newborns in it. It is from 3.2 kilos and it goes up to 20 kilos, this one. And then as your baby gets bigger, you just micro adjust. So you want this bit here to arrive just behind your baby's knee. So we want to make it wider and wider, and you don't have to make it too big in one go. So you just, sorry, it's a lot of Velcro now, so you just very gently just pull it out, and you keep going as your child grows, and it will fit your baby really well in that sense. Once you reach here, you can add the extenders. So let me grab them. So the extenders look like this. So every time I get this wrong, they're a bit confusing. You bring them in like this, so you go under, and then see if everybody can see because I'm on 2 platforms at the same time. And then you just put the Velcro tabs inside like that, and then here. No, hold on. Every time I get this wrong. They are a bit confusing, I have to say. Okay, so No, yes, like this. Okay, I will get there eventually. I don't do that really often, sorry. Okay, so you've got a zip in here, and you want to zip it like that. Okay, and then you're gonna bring your Velcro and then you bring it inside like that, and it kind of folds on itself. Okay, now move it on one side. We can do the other side. And I'm going to show you the difference in terms of the width of the base altogether with the extenders, so you can see how big it goes. It's a bit fiddly, sorry. Luckily you only need to do this once. I'm not very good with zips and buttons, which is not great for my job, I have to say. Okay, zip. Alright, we got there eventually. Okay, and I'm just going to put the tab in like this, fold and you put it. Okay, all done. So you can see the width now. Show you the pretty side. This is really big. Okay, so it's a long time before you need to add the extenders. It will take you quite a while. And then you can see the front panel is all folded on itself now. So I'm going to loosen that as much as it goes. And again, remember, don't cover your baby's face. So you adjust this until it reaches maximum under the earlobe. And it's okay if it reaches here or here, again, as long as your baby is well supported. And just put your hood on as well when you go out, especially baby goes in the front. You can make the straps longer as well if you want to. So you can loosen. That's more for you. It doesn't make a huge difference in terms of the height, but it can help a little bit, so you can make it more comfortable for yourself. So this is how big it goes, which is quite wide. So the idea is that you only have to buy one, same with the Izara the one, and then you just make it grow with your baby as you go along. Okay, so value for money, these might work better if this is the first sling you buy. If you already have a sling, and you want to just move on to toddler carrying, then sometimes buying a toddler carrier might be more economical because it will last you a bit longer. In general terms, toddler carriers are often bigger than the toddler setting on the expandable carrier. So it's worth having a think and seeing what works better for your family. Having said that, if you have a toddler and you want to have another baby and another one, it might be more economical to buy an adjustable one, because once you've stopped using it and you have a new baby, then you can put it back on newborn setting and you can carry your newborn and then take it all the way to toddlerhood. So it might work out better. So it's worth really having a think about what you want to do, but also remember that you can buy this second hand quite cheaply and you can sell also second hand. Okay, so I'm going to show you other options. I won't demo everything because that will take forever, but you've got lots of other options. So this is the Mama Ruga Podma, and again it's micro adjustable. It's a half buckle or a pozagi, so you wear it the way you want. So you can start very small. So that works with a newborn, and then you can just make it grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. And that works for a toddler. So this is quite a long lasting option. The straps are made from a woven wrap, so it's really comfortable. And I'll just give you a quick demo of this one to give you an idea. So you put it on, and then if the panel is too long, you can roll it a few times until that is the height of your baby. So I'm going to roll it once. I think that might work with my demo doll. I'm not sure. I'm going to check. So you can wear it apron style or that way. Makes it a little bit shorter. Clip. I'm going to bring my baby in. So that's my toddler. It's about 18 months old. I'm going to bring the panel across. Bring the straps over. And then I'm going to support my baby. Pull down. Pin the strap between my legs. And I'm going to do the same here. and then I can spread the fabric across the back if I want to give a bit more support. And then I'm going to go under the legs and then tie at the back. So this works as a half buckle. You can also remove the waist belt if you don't like it and use it as a podagi. Lots and lots of options. You can have it the way you want, and it's very supportive and it's very long lasting. So that's another option. Very adaptable type of carriers, half buckle, are really good value for money. You can go for a toddler made-eye. So made-eyes usually come in 2 sizes. You could possibly buy a toddler made-eye for newborn and then just do a lot of rolling, but it's worth like checking that it's going to fit. But this is how big a toddler made-eye is. So it still works with my 2.5-year-old. It's quite wide, but that would be difficult to fit a newborn. I will need to do quite a lot of rolling and cinching, but it's possible. If you don't want to buy a baby and a toddler, we can make it work. We can have a think, depending on what type it is. The more there's structure in it, like buttons or things to pull, it might make it difficult, a bit bulky to roll, so it's worth having a think. You can get anjuhimos. So this is made from lovely carry from Rock Solid Sling. So it's quite a big one. You can get smaller versions of this and you can back carry with it or front carry. And good old ring slings as well. So maybe not first choice, but if you have toddlers who want to come up and down because they're walking and they want to go and explore the park, and you have to redo your wrap or redo your carrier every time, a ring sling might actually become very handy with a toddler. So you can do a hip carry and then you can come up very quickly. It's a very quick way to deal with toddlers. Bring arms in if you can and sit your baby down, and then you just retighten and you're good to go. So mostly on the hip at this age. You can even back carry with it. There's lots of options, there's lots of different ways to use it. If you are into woven wraps or thinking about getting into woven wraps, because they're really awesome, I would say if you are going straight into toddlerhood, don't go for thin wrap, because it's not going to last you very long, and also it's not the most supportive for bigger babies, so it's worth having a think. Again, if you want to have another baby later on and you want to keep going, then go for a medium weight instead of like going for a thin. This is my toddler wrap. It's very supportive. I've even put my 6-year-old in it a few times, and it's very, very thick. So it's a yarrow. It's very, very thick. So this may not work for newborns because there's a lot of fabric. It's, I think, 420 GSM or something like this, so gram per square meter, so very thick compared to a medium weight, which is around 220 gram per square meter. And it's very long because I can do lots of passes. So wrapping with toddlers, you might find the most supporting way to do it is if you like single layers, so like a rucksack carry, or if it's very hot and you want to carry just a single layer, then a thick wrap is going to give you this support. If you have like a thin or medium thin, then you might want to add more layers, so like 2 layers, 3 layers, so like doing a double hammock, Russian back carry, back wrap, cross carry, and so on. 3 layers is going to give you a lot of support, so it might be worth thinking about using a long wrap so you can do more layering and give you a bit of relief on your shoulders. Wraps should be always supportive. If they hurt, then it's really worth having a chat and thinking about what we can do to make it more comfortable. Okay, so, and also they pretty much last forever. Right, let me check my notes. What else did I need to tell you? Okay, so let's talk a little bit about tips and things that may happen with carrying bigger babies. You might go through the sling strike. So the sling strike is not always a fun thing to go through. So especially when they start walking, they want to explore, they might not want to go in the sling. There's lots of reasons for that, and every baby is different, so I can't tell you why it's happening. but often it's just about being able to see the world better, to be less constricted, and they just want to do their own thing. They are toddlers, remember, if you have one, you know what I'm talking about. They have their own mind, they make their own choices. So that's why they might just decide to go in the buggy. If you don't have a buggy, then you don't have the option, so you just have to keep slinging. Just my advice is just to let them choose, let them do what they want, because you really don't want to start associating the sling with something stressful. So it's really worth just talking with them and see what works for them and see what works for your family. If you have on your sling and you don't have a buggy, or walking somewhere far is just not an option because you're in a rush, or it just takes too long, sometimes it's fine just to be in a rush, then distraction might work. So if you maybe doesn't want to go in a sling, so often they don't like to go on the back as well, so see if they would want to be carried on the front. If you're breastfeeding, try to offer the breast, because sometimes that is just the thing, the trick. You might want to offer like a snack or something. Always be careful if you're giving snacks and your baby's on the back, you need to really monitor in case they choke. So maybe do it on the front. Offer them a toy. I always wear teething necklaces because that just distracts them. Sometimes it's about teething, and sometimes it might make them a bit grumpy if they're teething, and they can teeth for quite a long time. So having a distraction, something they can chew on or hold, might work. I went through a sling strike with my eldest. He just wouldn't go in a sling, and that was the only thing I could use because I was living on the third floor of a building. Anyway, long story. So I would just put Peppa Pig on the TV, and then I would just wrap him, and then he was happy. Sometimes it's the process of going into the sling that they don't like. So it's not the sling, it's just the process, because they have other ideas and they want to do something else, or they're very busy doing something else, whether playing, watching TV or something. So I just use distraction, and I'm a terrible parent. I use TV as a distraction. No, I'm kidding. It works for us. So yeah, wrap or put your baby in a carrier whilst they're being distracted by something, whether it's TV, it's music, it's a toy, it's a snack. Use the distraction. Sometimes the sling strike just lasts for just a short while, and then they're just very happy to go back once they realize that if they want to come out, they can go back. So also having a situation where you can just get your baby quickly out and quickly back in, so like using ring sling, or even if you have a wrap, using maybe like a hip carry with a ring, with a sling ring, or using like a slip knot thing situation, you can just get your baby quickly out. So you can use short wraps instead of having long wraps. And with carriers, usually it's very quick. You just unclip and put your baby back in. So yeah, it can happen, and it's not that they don't want the closeness anymore, because they will always want the closeness. It's just that they have other things. They're busy, they're just busy developing. So don't worry, just keep going, offer it. If they really refuse, take the buggy, take the sling, see what you can do. Just make it work for you, and don't worry, it's nothing to do with you. They might just suddenly decide they really want to be carried again, and that happens with a lot of toddlers. They just refuse to go in the buggy and then want to be carried. So listen to your body. If you feel like you can't carry anymore and the weight is too much, just do what you can. Don't hurt yourself, or go for short walks, or just alternate or something like this. Just don't push yourself. If you really need to put your baby in a sling, so just try to make it look like a piggyback. So you start, bring your child on your back, let's say, yeah, let's go for a piggyback ride or a horse ride or whatever. I always pretend I'm a horse, and then just like trick them into bringing the sling over. So like bring your arm through the carrier strap, or just keep wrapping. Sometimes it helps if they can have arms out, because that gives them more freedom and they feel like they're a bit more in control. So one arm in, two arms out, just see what you can do. Make sure your sling is tight, because when I have arms out, it just shifts the weight back a bit and might just pull on your shoulders a bit. So make sure it is very tight and it's very comfortable. So that might work as well. When to stop carrying is entirely up to you, and it's the same thing with breastfeeding. When you want to stop, it's entirely up to you and your child. I personally breastfeed until natural term, so I let my children decide when they're done with it. And it's pretty much the same with carrying, although I can't carry my elders for very long now. People will make comments. They will make comments if you're still breastfeeding. They will ask you if they can't walk. They will ask you when you're going to stop carrying them. They will make comments, and sometimes it's just a joke, but sometimes it just gets a little bit annoying. So just gently educate them and ask them to compare the situation with the dad giving a piggyback ride. So if it's nice and cute that the dad is giving a piggyback ride, why can't you just use a sling instead? It's just a lot easier on your body to carry a heavy child in a sling than carrying them on your shoulder. Then the next question is, what do you do if your child is tired and wants to sleep? You know, they're toddlers, they still need to nap. You have the sling and they can sleep, and it's just totally easier to do it that way than just carrying them in arms and just sleeping over. It's painful. It is painful to carry in arms, so it's just always easier to have a sling than doing a piggyback ride. Babies who are carried do not walk later than babies who are not carried. It's a total myth. They will always walk on time when they're ready. It can happen between 8 months and 2 years. Anytime between that time, carrying them will make absolutely zero difference. So keep going. You're doing great. There are no drawbacks to carrying an older child. You still get the same closeness. You still get all the right rush of hormones, so it's really lovely. It helps them feel secure. It helps them explore the world from a safe place. So keep going. They will walk. Don't worry, it will happen. Why would a 3-year-old sit in a buggy and nobody's frowning at this? And why can't they just go in a sling on your front or on your back? It just makes absolutely no difference. It's the same situation. Okay, so we have a question from Nicola. Hi, Nicola. Amzat is always the winner for us, and I'm still carrying my 6-year-old. Yes, when she's had enough of walking. Exactly. My 6-year-old gets tired sometimes, and if I'm carrying my youngest, then my husband ends up having to carry him, and you know, it's just easier if he's in a sling or in a wrap. What does it matter? It's our lives. We can do whatever we want. Okay. So, any more questions? Feel free to ask. If you have a sling you can't get on with and you want some demos, we can do that one-on-one. And there's lots of videos on my Facebook page and on my YouTube channel as well. If you are not sure whether your child needs to move on to toddler carrier, then now it's time to just try a few and see if they work. And if you want to try anything, just if you're in my area, you can come. Very happy to give you some carriers, and we can do it online. So normally it's face to face, but it's gonna have to be online at the moment. But yeah, I've got lots and lots of options. So feel free, I'll stay here for 20 seconds and see if anybody has questions. If you're watching this in replay, feel free to post your questions and I'll answer. Okay, so we have a question from Neve. How Ergo doesn't stretch across Fabric's legs because he's quite tall. Yes. Should I be worried there's something I can do to help? So that's what I was saying at the beginning. You don't have to support knee to knee. So let me explain what I mean by this. You don't have to support knee to knee. So I'll just use this one because it's super adjustable. As long as you're still preserving the M-shaped positioning, the panel doesn't have to support from this knee to this knee. So let me show you. So I'm going to make it a bit too small for my demo doll on purpose. So here. So don't do it like this, I'm just demoing. Okay, so hope you can see. Now, ideally what you want is the panel to support from this snippet all the way to this snippet, okay? But that is especially true for very small babies, as we need to help support their hip development. Now, as they get bigger, if for instance your ergo at the base is it's not too narrow, it is just a bit too small, nothing's going to happen because see, the M shape is still preserved. So I'm not all the way to the knee, but I'm still preserved. In terms of the height, what you want maximum is for the top of the panel to be under the earlobe. You don't want anything to be covering the face, even for older babies, because that is going to distress them. It's okay if the panel is here, because your baby has got full head control. So it's fine if the panel is a bit too small. It's not actually too small, it's just a little bit just under here, so that's fine. The only thing you need to consider is if your baby's on your back and they fall asleep, if the head's going to tilt back, make sure you've got your hood ready, so it's going to support your baby. But it doesn't matter. For toddlers, it really doesn't matter. As long as it's still comfortable, it's still supportive, it doesn't have to fit like a newborn, because they're not newborns anymore. I hope that answers the question. Okay, so Hannah, is there a way to get the toddler up higher, as we found it quite hard after walking for a while on our backs? Hannah, you have, is it Becco Gemini you have? I think so. So, yes, so one way to go higher up, let me just grab a Boba X. So, to go higher up, depending on what your going on the back technique is, some babies will just climb. So start with your waist belt quite high. It doesn't have to be on your waist low down or on your hips. You can start quite high, like this. And if you get them to climb on your back, or I just Superman toss them, so like this. The second demo one-on-one. And then, so, sorry, I should put it on my back straight away. We start again. So, start with your waist belt quite high. Can you like right under your boobs? But just make sure it is high enough and it's comfortable. That's what really matters. Then either you get them to climb, or you pick it up, or you Superman toss them. Tell them to hold on. If they can hold on, if you're not sure, don't do this. And then you just bring the straps over and you clip. Like this. Make sure the legs are out. It works a lot better with a little baby. Okay, so my baby is quite high up, and then I just pull the panel. So yeah, waist belt higher up, tighten the straps, and make sure it's quite high. So I think he's getting annoyed by not being able to see over our heads. I mean, this is as high as you're gonna get, like roughly here. So you can keep bringing this as high as possible. It's more for your comfort than anything. Have you tried to just let him have arms out? Because sometimes this is what works, is just getting them to have arms out, just so that they feel a bit more in control and feel like they can see a bit more. So you can try that, Hannah. But yeah, just keep going up until don't compress your lungs, but just make sure it's comfortable. Okay, so leave that. Yeah, awesome, thank you, Hannah. I hope that helps. If not, you know where to find me, and we can have a look. You won't be able to go super high up, so this is probably as high as your baby is gonna go, and then they can look around. But try arms out or one arm out. Just make sure it's tight, so it's giving you the support. You can't get a sling that will do piggyback ride on the shoulders. It doesn't exist. So you can have it high up. I know there's the mini maid that everybody's going on about. It is not a sling. It's just a carrying aid, and it's extremely uncomfortable. So I would not recommend that if possible. Just get a full carrier. You can get these enormous backpack carriers that people use for hiking, but in my honest opinion, just a normal carrier, a big one or a toddler one or expandable one, will just work a lot better, and it's just a lot easier to support the weight for you, because it's quite heavy. And it's very, very, very bulky, so I think this is the best option, definitely. But yes, you can do that. If you have wraps, you can just bring the straps up, or made eyes, same. I can demo that if anybody wants to have some questions about wrapping and made eyes. Any more questions? Cool. I think we might be done. And if I see you in the street, I'll just show you. We can do that from a safe distance. Okay, I think I'm going to stop talking now. Any questions later on, feel free to just post them. You can drop me a DM. I'm really happy to help. If you want to try any of the slings, get in touch as well. We can do that. I even have a mesh one, so that's nice because it's quite warm at the moment. We're in May. But thank you for watching. It was really lovely. I love talking about this. I think so I'm doing a live every week, a different tutorial. I think next week I'm going to talk about tandem carrying for twins or carrying 2 children. Bit niche, but if you want to join or have friends having twins, or a pregnant friend who wants to carry their toddler and wants to carry both, please do tell them, because that's where I will be. Thank you for watching. I'm going to stop this. Bye.